Welcome to Employee to Boss. We're so glad you joined us today. So I got the great Robbie with us. Robbie, so many times I see somebody going from employee to boss, and they ask me, what do I do? And I say, there's only two things you need to do. The first thing you need to do is figure out what you're going to do. What service are you going to give to the world? What side hustle? What are you going to do to collect that money in? What problem are you solving? Second thing is, how are you going to distribute out there that people know what you're doing? Are you going to do it via social media, via website, via flyers, via car, stickers? Are you going to open up a store and put a sign out front? What is the vehicle that's going to advertise for you on a consistent basis to keep people coming to your company so you can do your service work?
Absolutely.
So for me, it's just a two-part thing to get a business going. What are you going to do? How are you going to advertise?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts?
Well, people leave the advertising out of it a lot. They think that, okay, I got a great idea. I'm not spending any money on advertising, and people are going to come to my door begging me to do business with them.
I'm going to make so much money.
Absolutely.
Right.
They underestimate marketing. And then if they do marketing, they have the wrong idea about marketing. People kind of look at marketing as a multiplier. I see marketing as an opportunity to get in somebody's face that didn't know I exist. If you have a physical location that's hidden in some neighborhood that nobody ever goes down, nobody knows you're there. If you have a mobile company and you're just riding around with no logos on your vehicle, nobody knows you exist. So you want to put yourself in the eyes of more consumers so that you increase the chances of one of them calling on you to provide the service. So what I focus on in my company is the marketing aspect. Web design. People have the wrong idea about web design. Throw a website up. We're going to attract more people. That's part of it, but we need to spend money on marketing. Back to you, Ben.
Well, that's one of the things I see all the times with websites is it's a kind of like a postcard or it's a business card. It just has kind of mundane information, and most people overanalyze that mundane information. They don't know how to catch somebody's real desire to call you.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing is that I see with websites is, I had a friend the other day, we were talking about how to increase his business, and so he was talking about his website, and I said, well, where's your website at? So we did a Google search on it, and it was on page 14.
Wow.
And I think most people don't realize that
Nobody's going there.
Nobody's going there. You're not going to get any money off of that website, so just talk to me about the difference of being in the mindset of having a website for a business card or, what the difference are in the two.
So the way I look at websites, the way I've always looked at it is that for me, websites are real estate. And when I build a website, I'm already thinking about how can I attract people here? But once I get them here, how can I monetize that traffic? How can I provide more value to the customer, to the person that's laying eyes on my website? How can I provide value? How can I get my website? Matter of fact, how can I position myself to where I'm able to purchase oceanfront property on the internet? How can I get in front of the right people at the right time?
Right, because your business,
Absolutely.
You want to be on oceanfront property.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people realize that the way to stay busy is to be seen.
To be seen. People don't want to be seen. Another thing people don't want to do a lot of times when it comes to service-based companies, they don't like to put themselves out there. Well, I'm encouraging more people to actually put themselves out there. Tell your story. Tell people who you are, because we're living in this world right now where you can go right here and get this service, and you can also go right here and get this service. The differentiator is going to be, of course, the service you provide, but also it's going to be behind the scenes, who's running that company, what type of person is operating this entity, because you might not do well with certain personalities and certain personalities you might do well with.
It's interesting. We've worked on a couple projects together. One of the projects that we worked on was for a $25 million company, and they wanted to increase to $50 million. And so you said to them, well, let's see what your competition's doing. They said, the competition's name. We looked it up, and they were spending lots and lots of money on advertising.
A lot.
And, just saying based on results, we'd have to affirm that advertising was making this company that was
lot
their
of money.
competition over $100 million.
Absolutely.
But they were investing for that $100 million. It didn't happen by accident. And so I think that's the thing is then this guy who has a $25 million company started investing in digital real estate advertising and realized quickly that he started getting contracts off of what he put out there on the internet, which was a new revolution for him because he's never seen it happen before based on his old business card website.
Absolutely. You got to make that website or your marketing efforts, you got to make it attract people. If it's not attractive, everything is about attraction. So you can attract people visually, you can attract people intellectually, but you got to understand it's all about attraction. I got to get your attention before I can tell you anything. Mm-hmm. If I don't get your attention, I never have the opportunity to tell you what I'm able to do for you.
Is that why you always slap me in the face?
That's always why I slap you in the face. I'm like, look, I'm going to lay the people's elbow on him today and get his attention. But no, literally, you have to be attractive in business. You have to tell people, first of all, people have this idea in marketing. They say sex sells, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not just about sex. It's about attraction sales. This is why the convertible, the sexy red convertible sells, because it's attractive. We have to know what attraction is. And what I see from a lot of small business owners that do try to perform their own marketing, it's very horrible marketing. They stick a magnet on the side of the magnet. Let's do this. Let's abolish the magnets on the side of service vehicles. It's the tackiest thing I've ever seen.
Well, I think the problem is that there's so much going on, right? They put a logo on it. They put a character on it. They put 5 phone numbers on it. They put an email
address,
on it.
Website
they put a
address.
website address. So and then they put on every job that they do,
Absolutely.
32 jobs. So basically the print is so small, nobody can look at it as they're driving.
I saw a billboard like that the other day. I mean, the print was it was a roofing company. The print was so small and it was so much, I can't possibly read what was all the services you provide. Make it big, make it bold, tell me exactly what you do in 1 or 2 words, and go on about your day.
Or where you want to contact at. I almost say, just put your website out there, amateur.com.
Absolutely.
Because then people are going to go there because they'll remember it.
Absolutely.
It's easy to connect and all that. I think we overdo this. Just put your phone number on a billboard.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, they don't even have to know what it's for. Put your phone number out there. Somebody's going to call you,
I'm like, call this number.
Right. Call me.
I thought about I'm
ready to help. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready,
Yeah, a great idea would be like, for a hoot and treat, scan this QR code. You don't even know where it's going, but just imagine the people that are curious that will go up to that QR code and scan it.
Plop. And then you got their data, and then you can make the connection.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about advertising is making the connection. This building right here spent over $400,000 on. It's not a pretty building. When you're talking about being attractive and stuff like that. Now, we do flooring, but this building really hasn't made me $1.
Yeah.
And I was surprised about that. I spent a lot of money, and I thought, man, if I open up this store,
people will walk in it.
Oh, they're going to run into it.
Yeah.
They never did. So I spent $400,000 on this building thinking it was going to bring money in. If I had to do it based on what I know now, that's why I'm doing this podcast, is to share with people what I know now.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah.
And, I know now $400,000 is a crap load of money that didn't do any benefit for me. It was my advertising, but it didn't advertise that well.
Right.
What if I could have I had to put $100,000 down on the place. I'm spending $1,500 a month on the mortgage. I'm paying for insurance. I'm paying for electric. I'm paying for all those things. So I'm up to somewhere in the $2,500 a month payment. What if I took that $80,000, $100,000 for the initial down payment and put that into real advertising?
Yeah.
It would have been mind-blowing, the difference of what my company could have produced.
Man, advertising, I was telling my wife the other day, my wife has a salon, and I said, you need to beef up your marketing game. She's like, well, I post every day. I said, no, look, you need to spend some money. She was like, well, I'll spend $5. I said, look, my Facebook bill alone every week is $500. And then I open up my Google account. That's $500 every week. I'm putting lots of money into this thing because I want to continue to work while I'm sleeping. I want to continue. That's a way you can multiply yourself without you having to physically do it all the time. And digital marketing is tremendously cheaper than print.
Right.
Once they throw print in the trash, it's in the trash. It's not going to pop back up and display in front of your face
For the
again.
next person.
Absolutely.
Right.
If a person skips your ad on digital, guess what?
They're looking for another person.
Yeah, and we'll pop back up in their face again. Bloop, here I am again, sir.
Well, and everybody's on their phone. Everybody, people aren't even watching TV anymore. They're going home and watching YouTube.
Absolutely.
So the market is primed for your advertising.
Yes.
To be everywhere. I love that you can make it actually niche to different people, different sectors, different viewers, stuff like that. Like on Employee to Boss, we market to how-to videos because how-to people can become bosses, right?
Absolutely.
Because they know the how-tos to the service business. The next step is the confidence and how they can start a business for themselves so they can make more money. So we market to the how-to portion of YouTube and things like that. Our question is today, where are you advertising?
Yeah.
How many different places? You got LinkedIn, you've got, social media, other places. What are kind of all the ones that you can advertise?
So right now, first of all, Snapchat is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck because they do a great job. The prices are cheap. So if you start advertising on Snapchat, that's a great thing. Just found out that the other day. But the ones that I have actual application in, you're talking about Google, you're talking about YouTube, you're talking about Facebook. Those are the three primary ones. Primarily, I'm on Google, YouTube, and then Facebook. But I spend a lot of money on these platforms because I know that if I don't market, I cease to exist. You're not just competing with people in your neighborhood anymore. You're competing with people all over the world.
Coming into your market,
Absolutely.
into your neighborhood.
Especially in my industry, I'm competing with people in India. I'm competing with people in China. So I really live in a global economic society. Now, with service-based companies, a lot of people feel naive because they're like, well, I'm the only plumber in town or whatnot. But hey, it's only a matter of time before somebody creates some type of technology that will allow somebody in another state or country to perform that service that you're providing locally.
Well, and I love when people say I'm the best, and that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad, pat yourself on the back. But here's the deal: is the best don't always get hired.
That's right.
Even the best prices don't always get hired.
That's exactly right.
And here's the thing that I've kind of learned is you're only one phone call away from somebody else taking that job.
That's right.
And so what happens is you kind of need a ratio of lots and lots of phone calls to come in because you're going to miss some of the calls. Not every call you come in is going to be a winner. Some people are they're gonna price you. They're going to ask. It's a numbers game. So you need the most numbers to come in.
I saw the other day people were criticizing Grant Cardone because they said he didn't know sales. He wasn't a true seller. He's a marketer. What's the difference between a seller and a marketer? Huh? What's the difference between a seller and a marketer? It's the same thing. The marketer is just someone that's aggressive to get the sale. A seller is somebody that collects the money. A marketer is a person that tells somebody they should spend the money with the person that's collecting the money.
Well,
and Grant Cardone is a great marketer and seller. I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but he's a great marketer and a great seller.
Some people don't realize how their business is bringing in money.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they'll say, I'm word of mouth.
Yeah.
I already have my base of people. I am just fine.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. If you analyze that, your word of mouth, do you pay them? Are they bird dogging for you? Or what if somebody dies?
Yeah.
Then you lose part of your word of mouth. So basically your company's growth 100% only is based off of what other people think about you.
Well, they think that's a compliment.
Right.
They're like, I'm word of mouth. We're this and that. We're 100% word of mouth. I'm like, well, kudos.
But as much as you get growth of word of mouth, you also get insults by word of mouth.
Absolutely.
So then how many people are not hiring you because of word of mouth?
Absolutely.
And then my thing is if you want to make your company 100 times bigger than it was last year, you cannot scale that because of word of mouth.
That's right.
But you can with advertising.
Absolutely.
And people don't realize that word of mouth is not a business model.
That's right.
But advertising is a business model.
Because they think that, okay, we got tremendous word of mouth because we've done lots of people right, and a lot of people are satisfied with the work we've done. Kudos. Great. How long is somebody really going to talk about how wonderful their roof is? Probably for the first month or so. Mm-hmm. And then they're over it. They're not thinking about the roof anymore. They're on to the next thing. Well, you need to be talking in between that person's conversation about you. Marketing is your opportunity to tell your story from your point of view. It's your opportunity to control the narrative.
When people, basically, I've seen it before, they go out, they get yard signs.
Yeah.
And they put them all over the place, and then the cops pick them up a week later.
Yeah.
And their phone rings off the hook, and they're like, oh, my gosh, it works.
Yeah.
Problem is, now you got to buy more yard signs and put them out.
Absolutely.
So you have the labor of doing that, and then what are you going to do? The cops are just going to come take them again.
And then the more the cops take them, the more you get on their nerves, and then now you got a problem with the city.
Right. But with digital marketing, everybody appreciates it and loves it.
Absolutely.
And it's not a threat to anybody, and it stays up consistently. Here's my point is you have to think about the ups and downs, ebb and flows of marketing.
Yeah.
So is your marketing like putting out a yard sign saying, hey, here's our business? And then here's the other thing when you talk about being attractive. Is a yard sign eyes calling for a millionaire? Is a millionaire sitting there saying, oh, man, this guy put a yard sign out. I'm going to have him come work on my house with my family and kids are at.
It's so funny.
Like if I was a millionaire, looking for somebody to clean my house and they had a yard sign, that probably would not be where I would go to hire somebody.
Absolutely.
Where would I go? I'd go online. I would look at reviews.
Yeah.
I would look at, because that yard sign doesn't tell me enough.
That's right.
I got out of prison. I put a yard sign in front of my house, hire me.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about being attractive. You can make more happen on websites with advertising than you can on a yard sign.
Absolutely.
But I do like the benefit of being able to have a website that could kind of give me the glitz and the glam of a huge successful business.
Absolutely.
Without actually having a big building or, having multi-million-dollar services that I'm working for. But I can look the part. I can be attractive. I can be honest and say things that a yard sign would never help me.
Absolutely. Yeah. A yard sale is a great way to look like an enterprise without actually being one.
For me, so when you spend the money...
Did I say a yard sign or a website?
You said a yard sign.
A website is a great way... A website is a great way to look like a bigger company without actually being one.
Right. And my thing is, if you're thinking about the business deal of how much money do I spend on a yard sign, and then the time to put out there, what is it going to really bring back? It's really going to only bring back 3%?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
When we're talking to this $25 million company, we're seeing millions of dollars in contracts come back to them based off a website.
Yeah.
Based off the pictures, the images, the things.
Absolutely.
And so
it looks like a reputable brand.
And it is. And so that's what we're trying to say is don't go cheap in your advertising, and don't do it for 1 month. You'll get a little peak and ebb and flow, and then it will pull back down.
Yeah.
You have to kind of build to be consistent.
Absolutely.
To always be in the face. And that's where digital comes in, is it's consistently in people's faces.
We're not going to go back from digital.
Right.
I guarantee you that.
There's not a new system that's coming out that's going to take away digital.
And print is going to become more expensive, and here's why. Things become cheaper the more you buy. And so
If you're buying less print.
if you're buying less print, they got to stay in business, so the price is going to be higher. I printed 500 sheets of paper a few days ago. It would have cost me $750 something. That's insane. You know, could you imagine what $750 would have got you in the digital world?
Right.
Wow.
Well, even how you said 500.
Yeah.
So $750. I mean, we've even kind of done the numbers before.
Yeah.
Where it hits like 10,000, 15,000
That's right.
hits on YouTube and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So basically, you're talking about 1,500 times.
The money.
The reach.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, marketing has got me jobs in contracts in cities and states I've never even been in before.
Right.
You know, Ohio, Wisconsin, Alabama, Florida. I mean, places I've never even met a great majority of my clientele, but I advertised. I had a presence in their city without actually going there. Right now, I'm getting ready to relocate my family to another city, and I'm already running ads in that city so that when I finally drive my truck through that city, they start to say, that's the ad that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that with print enough to gain a significant impact in the impression of people's minds. So what I'm looking at doing is expanding the money that I'm putting into marketing in all aspects. And that's what it's about. People don't understand that. Your employee is not going to talk about you that much, you know, after they clock out. But that advertisement will. That advertisement keep talking about you over and over. And if your employee talking about you after hours, usually it's bad.
Yeah, you know, you're still a service-based business,
Yeah.
you know, so you provide a service.
Absolutely.
But you like to advertise in both realms. You like to do the virtual realm with, you
Yeah.
know, digital real estate, but you also like to do the real realm, reality.
Yeah.
And so you advertise that way. You know, you have a store, you have your truck logoed out, you know, you do things around your city that promote your,
yeah.
you know, so yeah, be everywhere. And most people think, well, if I'm doing an online business, then I'll advertise online. If I'm doing a, you know, reality business, I'll do basically reality of yard signs or stuff like that. But the combining both is where the sweet spot is.
Yeah.
So talk about like websites. Let's get into, you know, what should people be doing? What should they be expecting? What's the difference between you building websites versus going to Wix and building a website? You know, is Wix got the same game as you got? You know, are they going to add CEO or add, you know, things to the website? You know, what is the difference? What are all websites equal?
No, all websites are not equal. All website builders are not equal. All website developers are not equal. You're going to get different experiences and different results depending on who you do business with. For me, I've been in the industry for a long time. I've used every platform under the sun. I've been doing this since 2007 as far as actually trying to build a brand on the internet. And so I've used a lot of tools. One thing I think that I have an advantage of is I'm not just I hate to say it, I'm not just a geek. You know, I have a sense of hustle about me. I have a sense of street knowledge. I have a sense of commonality about me. And so when I started developing software, I was able to include those features that I saw work on other platforms, but I tweaked it and made it mine. I tweaked it and made it, you know, unique for my purpose. And what I like to do is you'll find out quickly when you come in and sit with me and talk about doing a website, you're going to get way much more than that. You thought you came for a website, but what you left with is an entire new vision for your business.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about showing you the possibilities. You know about websites, but you don't know about affiliate marketing. You don't know how to partner with Walmart. You don't know how to partner with Amazon. I do. I can show you that. I can expose you to those things, and then I can open your platform up to an opportunity to create more streams of income for you. So you're going to get all of that with me. Plus, you're going to get me and my team constantly updating your website throughout the month to make sure that you gain more traffic, because all search engines like breathing websites. They like websites that are alive.
Well, you know, that's the thing is we kind of go in with this image because we're trying to figure out our image. Mm-hmm. And so we go in with this image that the website has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have to put all the right words on and everything like that. And what I like about you is that you grow.
Yeah.
You work with people's wheelhouse. You say, let's focus on installing Windows this month. Let's focus on repairing molding around Windows next month.
Absolutely.
Let's repair Windows the month after that. Let's talk about putting awnings around Windows. Let's talk about heat insulation windows.
There you go.
Let's talk about storm windows.
There you go.
And basically creating a whole world around Windows.
That's right.
But not feeling like you have to put everything out at one time.
At
It's
one
the
time.
longevity of what website building and creating is basically adding advertising because
Yes.
you're constantly building and creating, which then means you can put that on social media. So as you come up with more jobs that you're doing, maybe you do a lawn service and then you buy a weed eater. And then you say, hey, look at this weed eater service that we do. And then you buy a wood chipper. And then you say, look, we're now wood chipping. And then you say,
Absolutely.
you get a pine straw trailer and you say, we're doing pine straw now.
Continue to expand.
You continue to expand and build your businesses, which continues to expand the services that you do, which continues to expand the advertising that you're doing on the web. So I think that's where most people failed to recognize growth. Growth slowly, over time, consistently, year in, year out of advertising will keep the company at the peak performance of what you want to do rather than these little ebb and flows of back and forth. How can you budget your company to maintain the right payroll of other people or equipment or things like that if you're hit and miss?
That's right.
You got to be consistent in business.
I see people that advertise one day. Look, I know people. So we charge $35 as our base service to keep you on the internet, to keep you powered on, to keep your lights on inside the building of your website. And I know business people who cannot even fathom paying $35 a month to have a presence on the internet that exposes them in places all around the world. That's the limited mindset that we're dealing with when we're trying to take employees to bosses. Bosses don't think about doing things for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months and then stopping. A boss is somebody that boldly operates successfully until they get satisfaction. BOSS. I just came up with it in real time.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boldly operating, whatever I just said at the end.
We'll have to rewind.
Boldly operating successfully to satisfaction. That's probably mixed up. But what I'm getting at here is people that never give up, people that continue to move forward despite the illusions of setbacks, those are the people that win in the end. I can't tell you the amount of money I have spent on developing software, on learning, on courses. I'm about to go into a whole nother realm that's going to end up costing me money in the beginning, but it's going to produce some profits in the end. I'm about to partner with a big company right now that's going to just open me up to a whole new world of education.
Well, and you're constantly, partnering with other companies. Why? Because it's just like you adding that you do molding around windows.
Yeah.
It's just like you adding these storm windows. It's just like you adding awnings. You're basically adding software things of, how to manage schedules,
Yes.
call responder, emails,
Yes.
these different services that people don't realize. One of the things that we come into with consultant businesses is the boss always says this: I need more time. I need more help. I need more efficiency. I need more. And so that's what I love about when we're sitting there talking to them about the website of, instead of, hiring another person to manage your calendar, let the website manage your calendar.
Software.
Instead of sending out emails, let the software
Yes.
manage your emails.
Yes.
Instead of doing callback services or answering the phone and hiring somebody to sit there and be cheerful on the phone, use this call center. Use the,
So we just installed this new feature. Speaking of callback, we just installed this new feature for websites that a person that's on your website that's busy, they're busy, they came across your website, they can click a button that says call me back. It'll immediately insert that person's number into your CRM. You get a notification with the date and time that the person wants you to call them back. I mean, this is the world we're living in right now. We all have an opportunity to tap into artificial intelligence and and the power of the internet. And so,
well, and I think that's a great feature because as a boss, you're riding down the road, you got your phone, you got your wife or you got your kid or you got your employee or you got somebody else on the other line, and you get his phone number that comes across and you're like, do I answer? Who is it? Is it a job? But the great thing about you is you now take that phone, that pressure of me having to stop the conversation with my wife or with my kid or with my employee or with the other person on the phone.
That's right.
And I can receive all of the information of why they're calling me.
Yes.
And I have it filed so I didn't lose that, and I can call them back. They feel like they are still connected, because they've reached out to me and they know that most responsible people will call back.
Yeah.
And so it's a great partnership to see. That's time management. Now you get to call them back on your terms. You get to call them back when you're not so stressed out. Maybe you're trying to install a toilet or a light or something like that. You can't reach down on the phone and stop. And then, you have to call the person back, say, oh, yes, this is so-and-so. Did you call me? Instead, now you get to call them back at the exact time and say, you made a schedule with me. You made an appointment.
Absolutely.
Here I am. I'm an honest man calling you right back when I told you I was going to call you back. And so I love that because it's a very professional add-on to website management. Basically that's what we're looking at is how can the web help manage our companies in advertising, in personnel, in services. Let's use technology for what technology is for, helping us.
Yeah. Yeah, let it help us. Let it work for us instead of us working for the technology. That's what this is about. We're about to enter an age right now of pure artificial intelligence. It's going to be scary and also amazing in many ways. And what you want to do right now, you want to position yourself to be at the forefront of this technological evolution when as soon as these new features are starting to be introduced, and right now is a great time. If you're a plumbing company, you want to be top of mind. You want to be top of search. You want to be the one that people thinks about when they think about the service that you have to offer. And digital is a great way to do that.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere in digital. And yes, a website's good, but business card website's not.
You need the total package.
Right. You need the total package, and total package is going to have technology tied to it with other services.
Yes.
That connectivity part of it. Is somebody responding on an autoresponder? I thought it was great the other day. You were sitting there, we're talking, and I could see on the autoresponder from your phone, somebody's on your website and they're typing in, hey, how much does this cost? And then they backed up. And they didn't want you to see, that they were asking about the cost. But it was already printed out. So you already know in their mind
that
before you call back that cost is important to them. So I thought it was so great because you were able to pre-plan your conversation with this person that's scheduling a time with you. And you were total control. We did not have to stop our conversation because technology was helping you. But you didn't lose that sale either because technology was helping you.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we realize that. We put so much pressure on our backs to, if I want to be the boss, I got to answer the phone all the time. I'd be at dinner, or I'd be at vacation, or I'd be on holiday, and I was always answering the phone. Well, I didn't run that business. That business ran me. But now with technology, and that's what I love so much in having you on the show today, is because you've created a new world for bosses to have more freedom.
The world that we're living in right now, I see a lot of companies taking their phone numbers completely off of the website. They're making you go through a particular funnel because as you expose your phone number, it's becoming increasingly harder to answer those calls. It's becoming increasingly harder to schedule appointments accurately because you got so many calls coming in. So a lot of companies, the only way you can contact them is by scheduling an appointment with them. And it's not convenient for somebody that's like, I want it now. But if you really want this company that you're choosing to provide this service for you, you'll schedule that appointment. And also, it gives the company that's providing that service for you room to breathe enough to provide that service in a way that you're going to be satisfied with. So one of the ways we're trying to offset that with companies taking their phone numbers completely off of their websites is we're trying to create a call center for plumbers, for roofing companies, for electricians, We'll set up in a call center and we'll answer your calls for you, and we'll schedule appointments and free estimates for you.
Well, that's what I love because, right, when people say, hey, when can you come out? And then you got to look at your schedule. And then and then what happens is the problem is that day you kind of get running around, you forget. You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had this appointment. But the great thing about scheduling is you don't have to tell the people that you only want to do estimates 9 to 10.
Just schedule it.
9 to 11. You just say that this is the only time that basically is available for them, to pick from.
You put that thought in my mind. You said, why don't you get off at 3? And I was thinking, 3 o'clock, that's too early, But what I've done is I've allowed people to only have access to me between the hours of 9 and 3. And within that amount of time, they can pick a time that's good for them. But after 3 o'clock, I still might be in my office, but that's a time for me to be productive and really look at these projects that we have going on to make sure that my team is doing it to the best of their ability.
It's great because you don't have to answer the phone.
Absolutely.
You know that basically they'll find a date between 9 and 3 that you're available to. And that's where I don't think we realize is that business has so many different moving parts.
Yes.
You have management, you have money management, you have jobs, you have organizing, you have, costs, you have all these things going on. What a relief to be able to say, I've got 4 hours to myself in the day that I can actually do other things in business.
That's right.
And not focus on the customer. I know we like this idea of customer first, and they are because they pay, but what about you being first? What about you being able to be the manager that you need to be in your boss and company?
Well, I'll show you, just based off of our friendship, I'll show you, really how, not to put you on the spot, but how important, our friendship is. 8 to 9 is my time to get my mind right about the day. That's when I go to my office early and I sit there because I don't open until 9. So that's when I go to my office and I sit there and I might meditate or I might podcast or I might, do something for me. I might do some marketing for myself. That's my little window. But on days like today, I come in here in that amount of time. Well, what that says is, to me, that's just as fun or as important as doing this thing that I'm doing, in the morning on my normal routine. And so if I didn't have control over my time, I couldn't be here in the morning. What if I had to be there 8 o'clock in the morning and, everybody just controlled my time for me? But because I control my time, I get to say, hey, man, you want to meet at 8? Yeah, let's meet at 8. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, today I have free time. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the power of technology. That's what technology has allowed me to do. And while we've been communicating, I just booked another appointment because of technology.
Right. And we didn't have to stop or anything happened. So money still came to you.
Absolutely.
And actually, it's a bigger commitment now because basically they've committed to you already this portion of time.
Yes.
You've committed to them a portion of time. So you're already in a union with them.
Yes.
You're not trying to sell them already. You already are basically 90% there.
Absolutely.
Now all you have to do is find out what they want so you can complete the contract.
That's it. It's simple. Find out what they want. And then over-deliver.
And then you did that through advertising.
That's exactly right.
Advertising is key. What do you think, for companies who haven't even started yet, what is like a percentage in the market or kind of like a dollar amount that you think start at? Is it basically the website first? How much money should they pay for the advertising? I heard you say the other day, you were talking to somebody, and they crapped themselves because basically they spent like $100, almost $200, $180 or something like that on money on a CEO.
That's right.
SEO.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they panicked.
Yeah.
And then was it like an hour later the guy called you back?
They got a big job that quadruple what they invested in, and I'm saying quadruple because that's as far as my mind can go.
Right.
But it more than tripled what they initially invested in. The thing, it depends on where you are. So first of all, you need some form of finances that you have set aside just for this business experiment, because that's what you're doing. You've never done it before. If you're going from an employee to a boss, you're about to experiment. And so you need to have some money. And with this money, being realistic, this money shouldn't be your life or death money. You know, it shouldn't be the money that I'll use life and death money. That's how I started, life and death money. I had a quarter. That was my life and death money. All right. But don't make it your life and death money. Make it your money that you are comfortable knowing that there's a chance that you'll make it back. There's a chance that you won't. This is your life and this is your experimentation money. If you're going from employee to boss. So the first thing you really need to think about before you even get started with business is, do you even have a good idea? Do people even want what you have to offer? If you can't give it away, 9 times out of 10, people are not going to pay for it. You know, so try to give it away. When I first started my company, I gave things away. I went to a few people because I needed to have my portfolio. I said, hey, I'll build you a website for free. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I use that as an opportunity to get some ground and to fill up my portfolio. And then I use that as leverage. I would take that to another company that I wanted to pay, that I wanted to charge. And I would say, hey, I'll build your website for X amount of dollars. Look what I did for these guys. So you don't always have to start off by dumping a lot of money into things, but you are going to need some money to start advertising. You know, social media used to be completely free. You can post on there for free, but the amount of people that are going to see your post on your business page is going to be very small. You need to have some kind of money to boost that post. Not just, and most people are boosting wrong. People just go on their Facebook, they hit boost, and they think they're marketing. That's you're just being Facebook's piggy bank. What you want to do is explore. If you're going to do Facebook, because that's where most people go, you want to start, Google this term, Facebook dark post. That's where you're real. You almost need a dang on, you almost need to be a brain surgeon to figure out how to tweak the back end of Facebook dark posts in order for you to get the most bang out of your buck. Case in point, my wife a few nights ago, she was telling me about how much she's been posting online and things of that nature and boosting. I said, you're just boosting her for kids. Who needs a booster seat? A kid, right? I said, there's a whole nother world you're not even aware of. She was like, no, I've done all that. I've done it. I said, look, pulled up, got my laptop. She was like, I never seen that dashboard before. I was like, yeah, because you wouldn't know how to operate it. There's so many bells and whistles on it. There's so many buttons that you can fine tune in order to hit that target audience. And I've been tweaking with that for a long time, and I know how to do it. But the fact of the matter is, you know, if these companies are not going to tell you that you're just sinking money into them and just being their personal piggy bank. But what you want to do is really do it like this. A mutual friend of Ricky and I, he said that he put his finances in the hands of financial advisors, you know, a portion of it, because they do finances all day. Well, you want to put that responsibility in the hands of somebody that does that all day, because you are going to lose a lot of money if you're trying to figure it out on your own and do it yourself. You know, you're going to. And so you want to give it to somebody that has a proven track record of delivering. First of all, if the company that you're handing your money over can't even rank themselves on the internet, then that's a prime example of somebody that probably can't rank you either. Right. So you want to study the game. You want to, you know, I'll say 10%. If you have, let's say you have $100, well, your start off costs don't need to be more than $10 right now. And you need to figure out what can you do with the most impact. Either you need to flip that $10 until you can afford it, or you need to put that $10 into something that can potentially get the ball rolling with your company. You
know, for me, I try to encourage people to, if you can, 10 to 20% of what you're making at your current job.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get 50% because that doesn't make sense. Your finances won't work, right? And then, but if you could take out 5, 10, 15, 20% max of what you make every week and invest every week consistently into your business, within 6 months, you should be able to take off just fine. But you have a social media also. Don't you have social media software that helps people, get out there with the social media aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do your whole social media marketing campaign for you, where we post ads for you. The only thing we don't do, because we don't have time to be trained on it, we don't answer questions for you. That's something that you're going to have to, do yourself, or have somebody on your team to do it, because it would take a lot of money for us to say, okay, anything somebody says, we'll answer for you. We'll post on your behalf. We'll make you look like a really good brandable company. We'll make you look like you are established, instead of people that are doing it themselves. Everybody can tell somebody that did something themselves.
Right.
Because you're going to do it based on what you think is right. You need to hand it over to somebody else that has that creative vision, that knows how to grab people's attention
And seen results.
and make your company attractive to see results. You're right.
I think sometimes, like, we're so focused on, I know how to mow the yard,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to social
Man.
media. I actually don't do any of my social media,
And I
because
don't do my
I'm
own
terrible.
lawn. I get Green Pro Landscaping
Right.
to do my lawn. I can go buy a lawnmower, but do I want to do that? No.
Well, and that's the industry, right? I help you, you help me. We all do what we're greatest at, and because of that, we all excel.
Absolutely.
I'm not just helping you and it not help me. Based on results, you're helping me, and our friendship alone, and think about every friendship is kind of this back and forth. I'll help you, you help me, I'll help you, you help me. And that's the same with business and partnership.
That's
We
right.
should be trying to help people in business to be more successful
Yes.
based on what we know how to do. And that's why you should bring your service to market, is because you know how to be helpful to other people.
Absolutely. You know how to be helpful to other people. You can help them get to where they can't get to on their own. If you're the only person in your company that's doing your AC work or your plumbing work, you don't have time to do the marketing. You just don't. And if you do, you're going to make it look like a plumbing job and not an advertisement job.
Well, and don't put that pressure on yourself.
That's right.
I mean, it's hard enough to think about the daily problems that we have to face all the time in business. And now you're going to say, learn this.
Yes.
Learn that.
Yeah.
Learn all of these different things, which you can. You're smart, but why?
Yeah. Why? Why, when you can just bring somebody in that's capable of doing the work? It took a long time for me to kind of let go and to bring everybody else in, bring other people in, to let them into my back office to see what I've created, because I thought, maybe if I show them everything, they'll steal everything. It took years for me to develop this mindset and to develop the skills and the software that I have behind my company. So I don't expect anybody to steal it overnight.
What would you say to somebody who is an employee right now? They're listening. They're trying to get the courage up to become a boss. What are the first steps?
Man, are you a boss? First off, are you a boss? There's a lot of people that have a business idea, but not everybody is a boss. Just because you are great at baking doesn't mean you were meant to own a baking company, a bakery. Just because you want to own a bakery doesn't mean you should be the one back there baking. So you have to understand what your strong points are. With business, do you understand finances? Do you really know your numbers? Do you really know what the bottom line is? Do you really know how to duplicate what you're doing in a successful manner? In a successful manner, and do you have the emotional intelligence to deal with a lot of the stress that comes with being a business owner? People don't talk about that. It's stressful being a business owner a lot of times when you have projects that are, deadlines are coming up, when you have new technologies that are coming up, when you see competition pop up, when somebody doesn't like the service you provide. Do you have what it takes to, despite all the things that come your way, do you have what it takes to keep going? So mental and emotional intelligence is what I'm going to encourage first and foremost. But then for somebody that's on the fence, you hate working for somebody. You hate it. You can't stand it. It eats you alive. Then you need to find out what it will take for you to leave right now, immediately. And this is what I always tell people, even in relationships. Don't leave the relationship when you're mad at each other. If you're going to leave in good times. Because what's going to happen is, if you leave when you're mad, you're not going to make wise decisions. You're going to be making decisions based on you trying to get back at the job that you left. Well, you want to leave with a clear, level head. I've been in several industries and several games I've played. And every single game I played, whether it was rapping, whether it was property management, no matter what it was, I always left at the top. I don't want to fall off as a rapper and then leave,
right?
Because you're leaving then by force, not by choice. I want to be at the top, and then I want to choose where I want to pivot then. So do your best in your job where you are right now, and then look around. Your job is a great opportunity for you to understand how to be a boss. If you can go in there in your job and you can start doing things nobody's asking you to do, then you definitely have what it takes to be a boss. That's a key component, because nobody's telling me what I have to do every day.
Right.
I have to get up and I make myself go do things. And so I encourage anybody that really can't live with the idea of working for somebody, leave. Quit now. Quit right now, and be willing to deal with the financial circumstances.
There's kind of this checklist that we do about business, and we always procrastinate on the things that we're not good at. Mm-hmm. So what I am challenging people is go ahead and put more pressure on you to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. Let's say you mow lawns, but you don't know how to advertise, so you never advertise.
That's right.
But here's the thing is, what if you hire an advertising company to advertise for you, which puts pressure on you then now to perform at mowing lawns?
Yeah.
To me, that's the cycle. Don't put pressure on yourself to try to learn a whole new industry. Put pressure on yourself to maintain what you're great at.
Absolutely.
You're great at mowing lawns. Let somebody force you to have to be great at it.
Yeah.
And that's where you make the money.
That's right.
When somebody
Pressure.
when the phone call's ringing so much that you're like, I need to keep increasing, either hiring new people, paying for new things, buying new equipment, buying new trucks. How can I make these services better, quicker, easier, more quality? Put that pressure on yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't put the pressure on yourself that you have to learn a new industry, advertising,
That's right.
website building to do what you want to do anyways, mow lawns.
I see horrible websites out there. I can tell that the owner of the company did it.
I get it all the time. People are saying,
I got a website.
I got a website. Family member built it.
I'm like, all
and
right,
that's why I say, first thing, well, let's go see what page you're on.
That's exactly right.
14, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. You wonder why you're not getting any. Is that website getting you any calls? No, we don't know how much traffic is getting. Well, that's why.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Nobody feels compelled to click the call to action. A call is a call to action. Somebody submitting emails is a call to action. If you're not getting any type of interaction on that platform,
no emails, no phones, no nothing.
It's not growing. You got to keep growing it. You got to pay somebody to get behind it and produce content for it that continues to breathe life into the website, continues to breathe life into your brand. You know it. When you walk into a grocery store, the best grocery store is when you walk in, you're like, oh my goodness, the sugar was over here last week and now it's over there. Well,
now you're thinking.
Absolutely. Now you're thinking, and now you're going to run into another product that you didn't see because you used to just going down the same aisle in the same direction. Well, with a website, you want to continue to change things up. If a person comes to your website and everything is exactly in the same spot it was in the last time they came, it looks like you're not alive. It looks like you're dead.
We actually wrote down a list the other day, and I was just coming up with these little 10-second ads, and I basically thought of one for 4th of July, for holiday season, for Valentine's Day, for even Halloween. I was like, are you scared to start your business?
Oh.
Boo, are you scared to start your business? Just that little 10-second advertising, to help keep in people's face every season,
Absolutely.
every holiday, every month. It's just 10 seconds, a little bit different, to revisit, to say, we're still here.
We're still here.
Hey, look at us. Hey, go to the podcast.
That's
hey,
right.
Go to the website. Hey, go to YouTube. Hey, share. Go to social media. And that's for us. I'm already creating 12 different advertising slots for the next year. And because I'm thinking
Valentine's Day is
30 years. I'm thinking 30 years. Well, right now we just did a holiday one, with Christmas presents. And the next one I'm looking at is New Year.
Thank you.
And the next one I'm looking at is for Valentine's Day. You know, for me is, do you believe in the company enough to let an advertising company create these little slots to promote what you want to promote, which is the lawn business
Absolutely.
or podcast, or, you know, what are you doing? It has to come through advertising.
It has to come through advertising. If you're not advertising, you're losing. You are losing to somebody that's advertising more than you. You know, I see companies that spend $200,000 a month on ads, just on Google ads alone.
You choke on that, right?
Yeah,
$200,000.
People are like, what? But
Right.
just imagine the reach. They're thinking long term. They're not thinking short term. And they're getting their money back because they've done it so much. Anybody that's spending $200,000 a month, they're getting their money back.
They're connected. Right. And that's why I think, you know, for most part, people don't experience. I like to say based on results. Based on results, where are you at now?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and try advertising and see where you could be at.
Absolutely.
You know, because usually what happens if we find out in this market is once they see, then they do it again.
That's right.
And they always come back and they up it. They say, man, we spent 500. Let's spend 1,000. Man, we spent 1,000. Let's spend 2,000.
Yeah.
Man, we spent 2,000. Let's go to 5 or 10,000. Because once you experience it, you understand this conversation that we're having is not a sales point.
That's right.
But it's a point of sales.
Absolutely. There you go. It's not a sale point. It's a point of sales. Great analogy.
Boom, boom.
Well, this has been Employee to Boss.
Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.